there was this giant explosion, which scientists think is a 1 in 1,000-year event for this sort of volcano. It takes about 1,000 years to fully recharge, so it just happened to be around at the point where it has unleashed a vast amount of its magma in a really explosive way. It's probably one of the most energetic explosions of the entire 21st century so far.
This volcano erupted with a rude shock in the late afternoon local time.
We're all standing up. My hand is shaking. What are we gonna do? Can you guys hear that? It keeps bursting. Hey, okay. See that? You guys see the smoke coming up? Massive. Ew, the volcano. It's the volcano.
The explosion's ever more insistent.
Oh no. Can you guys hear that? Oh my gosh. Man, it's loud. It's shaking the island. Look at all that. That's all from the volcano. There it goes. Is your ears popping? Oh!
It's the Holy One of Israel. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the sky. The Lord hath brought forth our righteousness. Come, and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord our God. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, for his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. Set up the standard upon the walls of Babylon. Make the watch strong. Set up the watchmen. Prepare the ambushes. For the Lord hath both devised and done that which he spake against the inhabitants of Babylon. O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasures, thine end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness. The Lord of hosts hath sworn by himself, saying, Surely I will fill thee with men as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up a shout against thee. He hath made the earth by his power. He hath established the world by his wisdom, and hath stretched out the heaven by his understanding. When he uttereth his voice, there is a multitude of waters in the heaven, and he causeth the vapors to ascend from the ends of the earth. He maketh lightning with rain, and bringeth forth the wind out of his treasures. Every man is brutish by his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image. For his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. They are vanity, the work of errors. In the time of their visitation they shall perish. The portion of Jacob is not like them, for he is the former of all things, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. The Lord of hosts is his name.
Yeah, like boom and boom, and the people are assuming that it's like a worship going on.
Australians holidaying in Suva also feeling the threat.
We just kept on hearing just massive boom noises in the clouds.
When yesterday's volcano erupted near the island nation, turning the sky black, the reports from family and friends were terrifying.
When you see the video from Tonga of the actual eruption, it is like world-ending, terrifying stuff.
On Tonga, it sounded as bad as it looked.
Oh. Holy shit.
Deafening, and for those by the water, it could only mean one thing: run.
Oh.
This is why. A tsunami generated by an underwater volcanic shockwave.
The images posted on Facebook show people being driven from their homes. But then, after a few hours, everything went blank.
So far, there have been no reports of deaths or injuries in Tonga, but this was 7 times more powerful than the eruption on December 20 last year.
It has been active for years, but an explosion of this scale only happens here once every 1,000 years.
In Peru, tsunami waves crashed through a market, washing away stalls and goods, sending panicked shoppers running in fear of what might come next. Tsunami sirens were heard in Ecuador, with good reason, fishing boats at sea riding rolling tsunami waves. In Chile too, sirens blared as swimmers left the beach because of a strong surge of impact stretched to New Zealand, Ecuador, Peru and Chile. The Bureau of Meteorology says those shockwaves travelled at more than 1,000 kilometres an hour, reaching almost 7,000 kilometres to Perth, with the sonic boom heard in Alaska, almost 10,000 kilometres away.
New Zealand too saw the effects of the waves, the water tossing boats as if they were toys in this marina. Some fishermen said they had to run for their lives.
In Santa Cruz, California, the rising tide caused minor flooding.
And although that's more than 5,000 miles away, Santa Cruz was hit hard.
Look at the tables right there.
Woo. Wild waves shoved tables, chairs, and heat lamps on the deck of Zelda's, a beachfront restaurant in Capitola. This surveillance video capturing the massive tide around 9 a.m. Saturday.
Oh man, look at that.
Startled locals rushed to find higher ground as water crashed its way through. A river flooding streets and buildings, including this church. Some were caught out by the rising tide.
It took only minutes for the waves to arrive. The tsunami engulfing Tonga's main island, Tongatapu. The water rushing ashore into homes.
This is a significant geological event.
Pete, volcanologists say this is the largest eruption in the Ring of Fire since 1991.
It could be days to weeks to months. It's not clear. These Ring of Fire volcanoes, in a way, behave according to a pattern, but sometimes it's really quite individualistic.
It is surprising that it reached the West Coast. The simple physics of it are really unlikely for anything like that to happen. The eruption was very powerful. There are reports that it was heard as far as Alaska.
Wow.
There were sensors that picked it up around the world. Not just seismic sensors, but sensors that measure sound that is inaudible to the human ear, the infrasound.
So it sent pressure waves, waves in the atmosphere around the globe.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Wow, that is extraordinary.
When I picked up, he started telling me about the loud explosions, and he was like, "Can't you hear it? Can't you hear it?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, you guys be safe." But he said it was so loud, like the windows, he thought the windows were going to break in the house. And then after that, then shortly after we started talking, then it started, the sulfuric acid or the pebbles started coming from the sky. And he was like, "Oh, it's raining, but it's not really rain. It's like rocks."
The beauty of Mother Nature and everything she gives us, and then there's the other side of her too, you know.
Mother Nature, of course, being